TSMC, the crown jewel of the AI industry, is both a choke point and a vulnerability for the entire field. Is it true that TSMC is the only company in the world capable of producing the most advanced chips? I thought it was Nvidia, isn't it? I thought Nvidia made chips. Oh, they don't? And what about Apple? Apple says they make chips like the M5. Wait, Apple doesn't actually make chips? So is TSMC really the best in the world? Is there nowhere else? Samsung in Korea has pretty advanced technology too, right? They also have chip-making machines that cost like 300 or 400 million. So what's up with that? But wait, America even invited TSMC to build an Arizona plant. With the factory moved, there should be no concerns. But it turns out, yeah, but they still can't make chips yet. So some might say, if things are that difficult and TSMC is so crucial, why not just invade Taiwan, take over TSMC, dominate AI, and become the global leader? But that's not possible either. Nothing is ever that simple. It's all complicated and messy. If you don't watch this clip all the way through, you'll miss the full picture. Awesome! Support TSMC information, the heart and soul of the AI industry. Whether it will be squeezed or not, no one is sure if it will survive. You can support us via this QR code. Or if you want to support the Science Money Monster channel, it's super easy. How? Just hit like, share, and leave a comment to chat with us. And what I'd love most is if you'd subscribe. So if I upload a new clip, we'll get to see each other again. Sound good? Just once is enough. If you've already clicked, you don't need to click again. Thank you. To be honest, if you ask me which company in the world is the heart and soul of the AI industry, I have to admit, I've always thought it was Nvidia. I always understood that Nvidia makes chips, but actually that's not quite right. The reason I thought that is because everyone always says, Nvidia, the chip company, Nvidia, the chip company. But no one ever really explains what exactly Nvidia does, just that it's something chips and Nvidia and the company's value, you know? It's the biggest in the world, $4.5 trillion. Isn't that the heart and soul of AI? Or even if you look at the video I made about the money flow in the AI industry, AI money machine, every company is basically revolving around Nvidia. No matter how you spin it, it all comes back to Nvidia. OpenAI needs Nvidia chips, Microsoft needs Nvidia chips, Oracle as a data center needs Nvidia chips. Every company uses Nvidia chip. The only company that doesn't use Nvidia chips is Apple, because Apple says they have their own chips. Apple's chips range from the M1, M2, M3, all the way up to the latest M5. The MacBook with the M5 chip, I'm actually looking for a good time to go buy one myself. Well then, Apple doesn't actually manufacture chips. Saying that is a little embarrassing, but really, there's no need to be embarrassed. Anyone can make that mistake, right? I used to think that Nvidia, Apple, and companies like that made their own chips, but that's not the case. They're actually chip design companies. For example, Nvidia is a company where their engineers design GPUs to be the most efficient in the world. The efficiency comes from how they use power, software, and so on. Basically, that's what gives them value. Or you could say, Nvidia's value lies in intellectual property, because they're the ones who create the blueprints or design the chips that are considered the best in the world. Those are at Nvidia. It's the same with Apple, whether it's the A19 chip in the iPhone or the M5 chip in the latest MacBook. Apple is also just the designer. They're just the company that designs them. About 90% of the chips made for Nvidia and Apple are produced by TSMC. So I have to call TSMC the heart and soul of the AI industry. Not only are they the heart and soul, they're also the choke point. They're the bottleneck, the narrowest part of the AI industry. No matter what kind of design anyone comes up with, in the end, it all has to be packed into TSMC for chip production before the AI boom can happen. Just think about it. All the M-series chips for MacBooks and all of Nvidia's chips, whether it's the A100, H100, or whatever, the H100 or the B200 from Nvidia, these are the most sought-after chips in the world right now. And the chips powering the AI revolution are all made at TSMC. TSMC is located on the island of Taiwan. Even though China officially declares that Taiwan is part of mainland China, there are still people who argue like, no, Taiwan should be its own country, or no, Taiwan must be part of China. See, people are still debating about it. So TSMC is located on the island of Taiwan, which is considered part of China, right? And everyone knows that the US and China have a very strange relationship. This is a significant and growing risk for the AI industry in the United States. And Patrick Shanahan, the US Secretary of Defense, has even come out and said that America knows Xi Jinping is preparing everything for invading Taiwan in 2027. This news is widely known. As for China, it seems they might actually go through with it. China has been testing new ships specifically designed for a 2027 invasion. They have built around 70 commercial ferries that can transport troops, aircraft, and gear. These ferries, meant for military transport, are scheduled for completion by 2026. Between 2022 and 2024, China conducted military drills right around Taiwan. Look at the map. They held drills in 2022 and again in 2024. Recently, they've resumed exercises all around the island of Taiwan. So here's the question. If China suddenly decides to go after Taiwan and something really happens to TSMC, does that mean Nvidia and Apple would have nowhere to manufacture their chips? Since Nvidia and Apple are chip designers, they create the blueprints and designs, couldn't they just send those designs to another company to make the chips? Isn't that possible? The answer is no, because we're talking about chips here, not tissue boxes that you can just find an OEM company to make for you. Not just any factory can make them, because the chips that Apple and Nvidia design are 3 to 4 nanometer chips, which are the most high-tech in the world. And there are only 2 companies in the world that can manufacture them, TSMC and Samsung. These 3 to 4 nanometer chips aren't just small, they're extremely small chips. For example, if you pick up a single strand of hair from the sand, no one would be able to see it. One strand of hair is about 70,000 nanometers thick, which means these 3 to 4 nanometer chips are 3,000 to 4,000 times smaller than a human hair, folks. And that's why, if you try to put your hand in, even into a strand of hair, you just can't do it. So to be able to manufacture chips that are 3 to 4,000 times smaller than a human hair, you need a level of precision that's just insanely accurate. And the reason they have to make chips so fast at that scale is because the smaller you make the transistors, the more of them you could fit onto a chip. That means the chip will have exponentially more processing power. That's what they're competing on. And any company that wants to manufacture chips at the 3 to 4 nanometer level has to be extremely wealthy because you need specialized machinery to produce those chips. And as for companies that have the equipment to make chips at the 3 to 4 nanometer level, there's only one, ASML, ML in the Netherlands. Each chip manufacturing machine from ASML costs between $300 million and $400 million. Actually, ASML doesn't limit itself to only supplying these chip-making machines to TSMC. They sell them worldwide, but the majority are at TSMC and Samsung. So you might think, wow, a chip-making machine costing $300 to $400 million each doesn't really seem like it would make much of an impact for giant American companies, right? Well, yeah, I guess $300 to $400 million. If you're a trillion-dollar company, you can afford it, no problem. But just having the machine isn't enough. You need it to come with experts, engineers with decades of experience. There's also the software, the technology, the supply chain, and everything else involved. It's not like you can just snap your fingers and have it up and running tomorrow. Even if you can manufacture, you need to be able to produce enough volume for industrial use. Speaking of that, based on the info we just discussed, some people might say, well, if you can't use TSMC, why not just hire Samsung? Doesn't Samsung have the same machines as TSMC? But it doesn't work that way. Because Samsung mainly focuses on memory chips. They've tried to make processor chips like Nvidia does, but they haven't been able to match that level. And did Nvidia ever try using Samsung? Yes, during the recent COVID period, Nvidia used Samsung to manufacture 8nm chips for the RTX 30 series GPUs. But there was a problem. Samsung's chips couldn't handle the heat that well, and there was a percentage. The defect rate was about a full 20%, which is way too high. It's just not worth the investment for producing GPUs that cost around $30,000 or for making iPhone processors that go for $200 each. If 20% of them are defective, it's just not viable. This doesn't mean that if TSMC didn't exist, companies like Nvidia or Apple wouldn't have strategic backup plans to use other companies to manufacture chips at the same level as TSMC. And this is precisely the critical point. This is the heart of the matter. It's the choke point, the weak spot that could potentially cause the entire AI industry in the United States to fall apart. Let me recap for you why the AI industry is so important to the US economy. Looking at the US economy over the past few years, the stock market keeps hitting all-time highs, driven by tech and AI. It's all about AI. People even meme the S&P 500, which represents the top 500 US companies. Since it's hitting highs like this, honestly, you shouldn't even call it the S&P anymore. You can actually call it two different things, the S&P 7 or the S&P 493. If you talk about the S&P 7, that refers to the Magnificent Seven, or the 7 tech angels of America. If you look at the chart, you'll see it's just these 7 companies that keep going up and up. The other 493 companies, they're not really growing, maybe not dropping, but not rising either. So right now, the US economy is basically being carried by the AI industry. And if it can't keep going, or if it crashes, the American economy probably won't survive either. So let's get back to debating with ourselves. Why do people say that if China invades and takes over TSMC, it would have to clash with the US? Didn't the US already invite TSMC to set up a factory in Arizona? Yes, TSMC really did open another plant in Arizona, but just because there's a new branch, it's not like headquarters. Besides, the TSMC factory in Arizona is already years behind schedule. Originally, TSMC in Arizona should be producing chips now, by 2024, and they were supposed to be producing chips at a large industrial scale. But that still hasn't happened, right? So the timeline keeps getting pushed back. And the latest update is that now they're saying production will start in 2028. That's several years of delay. But it's understandable because chip manufacturing isn't easy. It's actually extremely difficult. The people who work in chip fabrication plants have to wear full-body suits to prevent any dust from getting in or out, because even a single dust particle can ruin an entire wafer or anything else. They say it can cause millions of dollars in damage. And the factories themselves require massive investments, tens of billions of dollars. As for the workers, they need to be specially trained with unique skills, and there are thousands of them. Training all those people takes time, right? And then you also need a supply chain, chemicals, software, and what else? Minerals. Minerals, which are all in China. And like I mentioned before, producing chips requires engineers. Engineers with over 10 years of experience, like TSMC's, right? But if a new TSMC factory is set up in the US, expecting locals to have that same level of expertise is unrealistic. So they still rely on TSMC engineers flying in to oversee and manage various tasks. In the end, they depend on engineers from Taiwan. Right now, the US is pushing hard. They've rolled out the CHIPS Act, pouring funding into chip companies like they even bought a 10% stake in Intel or something like that. But before the day comes when America can manufacture chips on its own at the same quality as TSMC, experts say it could take a long time, maybe even a decade or more. So some people might wonder, why is it all so complicated? Why doesn't China just invade Taiwan, take over TSMC, seize AI, and rule the world already? Wouldn't that just settle everything? But it wouldn't end there, and there's never going to be an ending like that. Even if China were to take over Taiwan and get TSMC for itself, China still wouldn't rule the world. What would actually happen is that the global economy could collapse. First of all, TSMC has already said that if China were to take over Taiwan and really seize TSMC, it would be impossible for TSMC to keep producing chips and exporting them to the Western world. They'd be completely cut off. At this point, a lot of people say, well, then China should just go ahead and take it. China might smile then, but not because TSMC could keep making chips. They'd still need resources from the West. For example, software comes from the US, and those $400 million machines come from ASML in the Netherlands. So even if China seized Taiwan and TSMC, they still couldn't produce the world's most advanced chips. And the fact that if TSMC stood alone after a Chinese takeover, it would be isolated from the crucial supply chain needed to manufacture chips. TSMC would essentially drown without that support. The US even stated that if China took Taiwan, they would cut off TSMC entirely, so it could no longer produce high-quality chips. They'd rather do that than let China control the world's AI. As investors, after hearing this, there are a lot of things you can do. You could just walk away, wait for a signal, or be ready to take on the risk. Because TSMC might be the next chessboard that China makes a move on, after already winning the rare earths board, which is a crucial part of global technology manufacturing by controlling 90% of the world's rare earth refining. China has already won the lithium board, which is a key ingredient in EV batteries, now controlling 70% of the world's supply. China has also won the solar wafer board, which is a vital component in clean energy production. The world has successfully captured 80%, and this game is strongly suggesting that China's next station may win the TSMC dominance spree, which is the very core and foundation of the US AI industry. Okay?